Oh man, after a nice day of... What was that? Who is it?
It's NinjaRaptor.
Who?
Blondie's younger brother.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember you. Here, let me get you out of there. Hey, it's NinjaRaptor!
Hey, about damn time.
Yeah, I know, still working on that teleporter or something on that lines. Not your creation. Cough. Get back in the closet! So hey, it's Wizard 100.
Hi, I'm NinjaRaptor.
Yeah, and well, we're doing something else today, but what this video we want to do is to talk about the new Godzilla movie, which I saw last Monday.
Yeah, and I saw 2 weeks ago with Blondie.
Yeah,
Yes. About that time, yeah.
Yes, so that's what the plan was, but I think we should just talk about like what we were doing today. Oh, skip to this time right here, where to like skip this stuff, and just go right to the Godzilla vlog. God. And it's also 7:30ish right now, but anyway, so today is May 31st, which is also the same day the Mario Kart Indy Go-Kart Racing at
401 IndyCart, something like that.
401 IndyCart at near the Toronto Congress Center that me and NinjaRaptor here I invited to join the event.
Yeah, it was called Mario's Canadian Kart Day or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and basically the first 500 people there got free kart racing.
Okay, but let's explain why this thing exists. It's to celebrate the release of Mario Kart 8, which was yesterday, and I did get the game. There's a lot of viruses. I did get the game, but they were also celebrating this, and they were giving the first 500 people, like NinjaRaptor here said, free go-kart races. And we were fortunate enough to be the 19th, 20th people from
I think it was closer to like, I was like number 10 away from like the cutoff.
And that, everyone, is the 500 line cut. Woo! We made it in the top 500, which would mean that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We were 13 people away from getting locked out.
Yeah, and I was just like ahead of you by a little bit. It was yeah, we were just cutting it close. Like the people behind us, it was like 10 to 18 people I counted. So
Yeah.
So we were there, and what did you think of the event?
It was cool. A lot of waiting because there was a lot of people, especially in the
Yes.
sun, which may explain why I may appear a little lobstery right now.
Yes, I don't think you can see it on me, but it is. I am a little red
It's
around the arm.
It's worse on me, especially on my neck.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Mario Kart 8 event, it was pretty neat. I'd be lying if I said I enjoyed it, because I really did not enjoy the 4 hours of waiting, 4 or 5 hours of waiting.
The actual kart race and playing Mario Kart 8 was fun.
Yes, when it got to it, it was fun, but it was kind of like, just kind of barely meeting it. Like, I didn't want to say it almost wasn't worth it, but
4 hours in the sun.
4, 6. It was like we got there by 10-ish before 11, and that's when it opens. And we've been waiting until like 5:30 to get into the kart racing, or the go-kart racing.
Yeah, our go-kart race started at like 5:30ish, around there.
Which is it closed at 5 p.m. So we were kind of like the last people to like race.
We were probably like the second last race.
But anyways, we were there. They had raffles, they had prizes and stuff, and
We won nothing.
yeah, loserhood. But just so much waiting, and I kind of feel bad because like you came down here, which wasn't too far. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't too bad.
yeah, but it was just a lot of waiting. I should have brought my lawn chair. Just sit out there. I know I keep saying lawn chair, but it's just like those foldable chairs to let me sit there. But when we got there, we got to try Mario Kart 8, and even though I got the game yesterday, I didn't play it because I wanted to stream it. Me and NinjaRaptor here were playing it, and I enjoyed it.
It's pretty solid, yeah.
It is. It's a little too slow for me though, but
Yeah.
you know.
You could always just crank it up to 150 cc's.
Yeah, and just get used to the vehicles because it's still familiar, but it's still like
it's
new
still
stuff.
Mario Kart.
It's still casual, and there's still stuff to learn about it.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of new items and such. He didn't win anything because there was no one watching, but I did get this little Mario keychain, which was
So I guess I lied. One of us won something.
not loser. No, but technically you should have won something. It's just no one was watching.
Yeah.
But one thing I did notice is that whoever was in control of the gamepad had much better control over
Because
the
all the
vehicle.
other players prefers to use Wiimotes.
And motion control, which
Yeah, Mario Kart is really a game that's
needs precision.
it's best to use a controller, like a classic controller, a pro controller, or
GameCube controller.
I support that.
They're having this thing where you can plug in GameCube controllers into your Wii U.
Yeah, the adapter, which, from what I understand, is mostly for Smash Brothers, because that's what most people are used to using the GameCube controller.
They're probably going to use that for like the new Smash Brothers that's coming out.
But I can see it be adapted to other games like Mario Kart.
It would be beneficial to them to do that because it's like when you're driving and your controls aren't quite one-to-one to what you're doing, it's just really not.
Yeah.
I didn't say I didn't. I'm not saying I didn't have fun, but it wasn't that enjoyable. Like when half the stuff like you could just when there were turns and stuff that I know I can do, but I can't because I have to like.
You could better execute on a controller.
Exactly.
Even the gamepad, like you did a lot better on.
Yeah, and Mario was there, and mascot. But going to the go-kart racing, that was my first time like riding a go-kart. What about you?
I would say it was my third or fourth time.
Really? Yeah, because I remember when we were at Harvey's, you were like, life, man. I was like, what?
No, I thought you would have gone before. But...
No, I haven't. That was my first time. But it was fun. I really liked it. It was very exhilarating.
Yeah.
Not to the point where it's like it goes like to the point where there's so much excitement it actually turns into fear because you're like, oh my god, it's going so fast.
It's kind of like a roller coaster ride. Like it's exhilarating, but you know you're not gonna die.
Unless you're in a Final Destination movie.
Which this isn't, thankfully.
Yes, that was not our final destination. If I had to say roller coaster, it'd be like 10 times the go-kart excitement because like I went to Canada's Wonderland and what was it? First time going on all the big roller coasters ever in my life.
Oh.
I was going to be scared, but it was so much adrenaline. I actually liked it. I think I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
The go-kart race was really nice, and nobody obeyed the rules of bumping people.
All the carts had on the back no bumping. I got rear-ended like at least 5 times.
I got rear-ended a few times. There was one really violent one where it's like, and it was like, oh my god! I almost felt like I was going to get a concussion, like even with the helmet on.
Yeah.
I hate to see it without.
There's one point where there's like I was in the middle of a 3 or 4 cart pile up because people didn't know how to stop.
There's a freaking brake on like the left foot, which they're seeing on our right.
Who uses the brake as for losers?
Oh, and pros who knows how to swirl around the corners. I was doing a few of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun, but it took a long time. Don't want to go through that again.
No.
So, anyways, I guess I should have said something in the beginning like, oh, skip to this time right here. Alright, so after all that stuff, let's talk about Godzilla. But, we're gonna go into spoilers, but...
Obviously.
Yes, but here's a separate section of what we thought of the movie. So why don't you go first since you're visiting?
I liked it.
I really enjoyed it, and I don't regret paying money for... Oh, I paid like I was trying to watch the 2D movie with a bunch of buddies and friends of mine, and we didn't make it for the 5:30 showing of it. So we went to me and a different group went to bought the VIP seats at Cineplex, $14.99, and it was like I'm gonna just say something about this Cineplex. Your VIP tickets really should have had more to offer. It's like. Because when you go to a movie theater, it's just you, theater, ticket, right?
Yeah.
But these VIP sets, you go to a bar upstairs.
Oh.
And it's like you can buy expensive, overpriced drinks and snacks. And in the movie theater, you can order service before the movie starts, like $10 Angus burgers and,
Oh wow.
and such. But and the seats were really nice. I'll give them that. But $14.99. Like if you gave like a small snack, a small drink, small fry, or just anything to complement the fact that we're paying for VIP seats, then maybe I'll buy the VIP seats. But
Well, it might be a big deal for those who actually may use the bar a lot or may order a lot of stuff. But again,
So,
a lot of stuff is overpriced actually.
yes, and plus you're there to watch a movie. You didn't buy a VIP ticket just to be like, I'm gonna hang out at this bar and be like, I'm not even gonna watch the movie. I just want to drink expensive martinis.
I'm gonna be drunk off my ass.
And when I go in the movie theater, I start vomiting when I watch 3D and be like, oh crap! Okay, but enough of that. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the Godzilla movie, and minus the VIP pricing, like I really liked it. And I thought it was very faithful to Godzilla in its own way.
Yeah, like the overall tone of it was very much like the original 1954 Godzilla. It was like very dark, kind of gritty.
The struggle.
Yeah, a really great scene that was the main say for one of the trailers was when the paratroopers are jumping out.
They do a halo jump.
Doing the halo jump. And as they're falling, they see Godzilla and the one monster fighting.
Oh yeah, wait, so they showed it in the trailer that there was another monster?
No, in the trailer it was just Godzilla, but in the movie it had him and the monster fight.
Yeah, well, whatever.
He said spoilers already.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, I was kind of saying it after because this is where our thoughts of people who go, oh, okay, so these two guys didn't do it, and we should go watch it. So yeah, go watch Godzilla. It's a pretty good movie, much more faithful and much more entertaining than the 1998 one.
Okay.
Which no one has ever stopped complaining about.
Okay, this one was directed by an actual Godzilla fan. Like, I think Gareth Edwards' his name. The film that got him the job for this was inspired by Godzilla. He was inspired by Godzilla. His project was a thing called Monsters. And Toho saw that and said, you know what? You'd be good for a new Godzilla movie. And he made Monsters because he liked Godzilla. So, he was literally a fan. Roland Emmerich said, how much money can I make off this?
How much money can we make?
What are people still nostalgic over?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's like Jurassic Park coming out or something like that. Or they
Jurassic World is made.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was a weird name. Anyway, that's for a different thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that you bring up like Toho because not the bullet hell trailer now. It's missing the the two U's. They were the ones that also like not gave the right but gave permission for the guy that directed the 1998 one because in like the intro scene you see it like
Like they gave them permission to do an American version of Godzilla.
and they didn't do their research. But then again, okay, I'm just gonna be one of those people who said, look, I'm going to say the Godzilla 1998 as a monster flick and just it was okay. I didn't mind it, but as a Godzilla movie, it's unfaithful as hell.
That is the main thing. They called it Godzilla.
And it's unfaithful as hell.
Yeah. It was ironic because the cartoon that spawned from it, way better.
I like the cartoon. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm not totally against the 1998 movie because it spawned that and I just enjoyed it. It was more Godzilla and done in its own way. And it was just like...
Atomic Breath fights other monsters.
And you got a group of people that are trying to contain this struggle against it. Well, it didn't quite have atomic breath. It was just like green fireballs, but you know
Well,
what? At least
else would you call it?
Atomic burps.
was in a stream.
Wait, I swear it was a fireball.
He could do fireballs, but it could also do like the classic stream.
Oh, okay. So. Oh yeah, going back to the Godzilla movie. Okay, what did you think about the plot of the movie? Like, just a short summary of it.
Short summary. It was alright. It did well for a Godzilla film. It didn't need to be, incredibly deep or, artistic or anything. It did serve a good purpose.
Yeah, I know, like, a lot of people are like, oh, there's too many human character elements, like, we want more Godzilla, and...
I can see people complain about that, but you have to realize that when you say Godzilla, it's really about humanity's reaction to
efforts.
Godzilla.
Yeah, because basically every single Godzilla, like, even my favorite Godzilla film, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the 2000-something version, or 1990...
It was probably the 90s version.
I have it on VH.
The one where he fights Mecha King Ghidorah as well?
Or the humans use it against him. I have it right
Yeah,
here.
that's like the 90s.
This one. This movie. This was my first Godzilla movie, and you know what? It was a great introduction to it.
It's probably one of the best.
Yes.
Well, it is one of the best.
So basically, even in this one, we're going back to the why there are so many humans. It's about their struggle against Godzilla, and that's what's interesting about it. Godzilla fighting another monster is just like the best part of it.
Yeah, it's like it really goes along with saying that Godzilla is a force of nature. Because like when you say make a disaster movie, you don't always show the disaster going on. You always show the disaster coming and going, the people's reactions and struggles with it.
And what they're trying to do, survive from it and save themselves, right? Because, like, let's say, like, the disaster movie of a tornado. You don't want to watch the tornado going for, like, 60 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so it destroys that.
And that.
And that.
Oh, it sucked up some humans, okay.
Oh, that cow's dead. Yay.
Yeah, it's just, like, But yeah, going back to Godzilla, it does tease you for quite a bit before it gets to the really awesome part where I just couldn't contain myself.
It was definitely saying, okay, let's tease them showing a few scenes of, the fights, and then save it all, the good stuff for later on.
For the climax, which was, I loved it.
It was a good climax.
But basically, it's not like Godzilla takes an hour to appear. No, you see the monsters, but not in the full thing. Like you see Godzilla's spine fins, and it's like. He's right there, but we're not seeing him yet until later on.
Yeah.
I literally when they did the panning shot where it's showing his from his legs up, I was like, oh fuck yeah! It was pretty awesome. And the Godzilla look, it's very faithful.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem a lot of people, when doing reboots and whatnot they have is that they gotta think, okay, how do we make this unique yet faithful to the original, and
it's always a difficult task.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job. You compare it to the other Godzilla designs, you could say, okay, that's the legendary Godzilla, but it's still Godzilla.
Yeah, he's recognizable, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looked great. It was suspenseful when it needed to, not in the exciting way.
Yeah.
I like the look of the movie. Because it did a pretty good job. Although there was one part where it I noticed how faked it looked, but we'll get to that later. But just overall, I enjoyed the Godzilla movie. You should go watch it. And
same, it's good. You love Godzilla, you'll fucking enjoy it.
Yes, especially if you hate the 1998 one. But we'll stop talking about it. So I give my thumbs up to that. An extra one. Get fucking with me. You're not fucking with me. Come on. Spoilers time! You're not fucking with me! Come on! Alright, so this is the spoiler part of Godzilla. So, if you're not... So, it would be a good idea if you went and watched the movie and not get spoiled for yourself, but it's not... I would say if we spoiled it, it would kind of ruin some of the exciting parts of it. So,
yeah.
Just go watch the movie before watching this, but if you don't care... Spoiler time!
Or if you haven't watched the movie, you just want to hear our thoughts, and, feel free.
Yeah, so maybe during the movie, but no, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. The movie's 2 hours. And
It's 2 hours something, but...
Yeah.
Alright, so let's get started. How does this movie start out?
Starts out... it's been 2 weeks, so...
Oh,
My details are a little fuzzy. Sometimes.
I can fill in the blanks, but what was it? I would have talked about trailers, but you know what? Screw it. We're not the Spoonie experiment. The movie starts out with like history detail, talking about like the atomic bomb and how it was to destroy Godzilla, but they never said it was to destroy Godzilla. It was just to say like, oh, they just bombed
In the beginning, it was implied. Like you show, the what was it, the Bikini Atolls?
It was like Hawaii or something?
No, it wasn't Hawaii. They wouldn't bomb Hawaii.
No, it was like
The site for all the nuclear weapons experiments. They say that like it shows stock footage of those, and it shows Godzilla coming up, and that's only a nuclear bomb. It's saying
they were trying to hide Godzilla, so they like just
so they decided okay, let's try nuking it, trying to get rid of it,
and said like it was a nuclear test and
yeah.
so on. And then we cut to this place in the Philippines where there was a giant hole and they were excavating something.
I think it was a quarry, mining operation. I forget for what. Maybe uranium.
Well, the place got wrecked and it was radiated down there, so they went down to check like what caused this giant hole in this place, and they find the skeleton. I think we can presume it's like from a different Godzilla.
Yeah, same species but different member.
Yes, the same species of it, and there are these two parasitic eggs in there. One of them is still alive, and the other one hatched
and burrowed through the mountain.
And went all the way to Japan.
Surprised it didn't go anywhere near China. I mean, don't they have a nuclear... Well, the reason it went to Japan was to go to the nuclear plant.
Yes, that was because it... and aside from that, it's a Godzilla movie, it has to be in Japan, of course.
Yeah, of course.
True. You gotta let that slide. So somehow this egg makes it all the way to a nuclear plant in Japan, causing earthquakes and like nuclear meltdowns.
Basically, just it caused a lot of containment breaches because of the tremors it caused.
Yeah, that's what happened. So after that, they cut to this family living in Japan. I just remember the family name was Ford.
Yes. No. That was the main character's name.
I thought that was his last name because I forget his first name. It was something Ford, but. Anyways, they basically cut to this family.
Bryan Cranston's family.
Yeah. Okay. So they cut to this family, and they were. It's the dad's birthday, and they're trying to celebrate it, but has to go work at a nuclear plant.
Yeah, both Bryan Cranston and his wife work at the nuclear power plant, and of course their son, who I swear is Ford. I swear, but whatever. He goes off to school, and of course, what happens that that there's tremors going on. Of course, he knows something's wrong because it's growing. It's pretty frequent, and
And it's like it's not a natural thing in Japan, even though Japan has a lot of earthquakes.
Well, the one that they said they're experiencing is like no other plants are showing this. It can't be an earthquake. It's too localized.
Yes, and it's like you see these charts they're showing. It's like big bumps. It's like that's huge, and so. By the way, the dad. For a second I thought it was Robert Williams. Don't ask me why. I was just like...
Him and Bryan Cranston may look a little bit alike.
So anyway, so Bryan sends his wife down to go check the thing out. And then another tremor happens and they have to evacuate because it's having a meltdown because there was a breach down there.
Yeah, basically. It causes a breach and then, of course, radiation's coming out and...
In form of steam and like... And
of course, Bryan Cranston goes down to try and save his wife, but of course...
They don't make it.
So he's forced to seal her shut.
Yes, for the safety of the plant. Yeah. They die, or she dies, and then cut to 15 years later. Ford, the son, is he's in the army. He's visiting his family.
Yeah, he's just completed a tour of duty. He's explosives, I believe.
Yeah, he's EOD.
Yes.
Yeah, so he works with explosive, which doesn't quite come into play, but it does help him get around.
It kind of comes into play later on. Explains like why he's able to go places.
Yeah, like his access, but we'll explain later if we remember. But so he goes back to his home, gets a call from I think it was Japan.
Yeah, the embassy.
About like, oh hey, your dad's
been arrested for trespassing into the quarantine zone That's what
Yes,
it was.
because after that accident, that incident, not that accident,
They pretty much quarantine and evacuate the entire area around the nuclear plant and say, "Oh, it was a meltdown.
Yes,
Just a freak accident." But of course, Bryan Cranston, he goes crazy, all Walt White.
well, crazy to everyone around him because he's like he's seeing something. He's like, oh, there's something talking, echolocation. There's this thing calling out.
The main thing is that he says, no, it wasn't an accident. There's hiding something, And one of the things he does, he gets access to, I forget what it was, sonar readings around the area.
Yeah.
And he notices sound coming from it. It's like, something is talking. And something else has replied,
But yeah, so Ford goes to Japan and gets his dad out, and then goes to his house and is like, okay, come on back to with me to my family. My son hasn't seen his grandpa in years. He would like to see that.
Yeah.
But his dad convinces him to be like, come with me. I know something's up with there. So they go.
Yeah.
They go there. Obviously, they're breaching a whole bunch of laws and stuff. And
Yeah.
And when they get there, there was this one thing weird that I thought was just a kind of bit of what was that movie that Prometheus? You know when he saw the dogs running by and he's like checks the radiation reading on his Geiger counter and is like, there's no radiation. Must be okay. And it's just I was just like, dude, Prometheus. What if it's just in that area? I know radiation goes far, but still, I would have kept that on.
Well, if the dogs have been living there for a while, then there would have been little radiation that in the short time they were there, they wouldn't be affected anyways.
Yeah, and I guess you could also say that because the dogs were still alive, that well, it didn't kill them, and it's not gonna kill them for now. So they go back to his house because he has data from 15 years on.
Which I am surprised survives through the radiation. I thought it would just completely wreck it all.
Or get fried by it.
Yeah.
He still has the charge though, because the data from 15 years ago in that nuclear plant got wiped out for obvious reasons.
And of course he has, backup copies.
Yes, because he was working at the nuclear plant with his wife before she died. So they leave. They get detained by the Japanese quarantine guards.
Yeah, the government basically.
Yeah, and they get brought to the new nuclear plant.
It wasn't the new nuclear plant. That's what they thought at first, but what's later on revealed to be is a cocoon. They put it.
So what happened to the first one? I thought it was they went to a different nuclear plant.
No. It's still the same area.
Oh.
Okay, what happens that later on they explain is that the reason that the plant was attacked in the first place by the monster is because it feeds off radiation.
And there was this concept where it's back then in the dinosaur ages there was a huge ton of radiation, which is why humans don't exist during that time. So
why life was a lot different,
yes,
and they say these giant 100-story tall monsters fed off the radiation,
which was I kind of found that interesting. Actually.
Yeah, it was kind of a way to tie it in. I thought it was weird because then we see no evidence for it or anything, or the dinosaurs would have been a lot bigger anyways.
Oh yeah, but yeah, going
whatever.
back to them getting detained and Brian gets locked up and interrogated is I know there's something about this. You're hiding something. My wife died.
You're hiding something, and it's gonna knock us back to the stone. He just goes full out.
He's so crazy.
But there is one thing I noticed that when they say that I was like, that's most of the lines I've heard from the trailers. It's it's obvious that Bryan. Even in the opening credits it says, and Bryan Cranston, he's only going to be there for so long. He's only going to be in the movie for so long. And then,
which is...
And it's mostly the executive saying, okay, we have Walter White in this. Put him in the trailer. Put these awesome scenes where he just goes nuts in the trailer.
And draw people in. I've only saw the Halo Jump trailer, so I didn't see
the other trailers where he talks about basically his own narration about them hiding things. That's overlaid to scenes of the movie. No,
okay.
trailers.
So, anyways, going back to the movie, so we cut through the scene where the scientists are looking at this cocoon that's like feeding off the radiation, and they're trying to get it to hatch. Was it?
They're studying it, and they notice that.
Oh yeah, they were studying it because they couldn't get rid of it, so might as well do something about it.
And they noticed that it was doing weird things. It was getting more active, and one thing, and an important part of the monsters is that they could create EMPs.
Yes. It was. They thought it only fed on radiation. And the reason why they didn't want to get it, they said this later in the movie, is because they were afraid if they destroyed the monster, like it would release the radiation around, and then it's like, oh, now our lie is actually true. So they were experimenting, and the experiment starts going a little haywire or getting really dangerous.
Yeah.
So they were like, kill it. And
so the cocoon gets more active and starts to release these EMPs. It's like, oh, this is way too dangerous. We can't control this. Obviously, kill it.
Yeah. So they set up this electrical fence to electrocute it.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because it actually backfire and awakens the monster inside of it. This monster is called a Muto, by the way. I don't know.
It was massive, unidentified terrestrial organism. That was the original name. But then they found out that it could fly. And they even mentioned this. It was originally called a massive, unidentified terrestrial organism. But obviously, it's not terrestrial anymore because the first monster, the Muto, starts flying.
Yeah. But anyways, they try to electrocute it. Power goes out, and the Japanese guys were trying to go and check it. And this movie throws a few not jump scares, but the whoo
shocks.
Yeah, and it's just was that necessary? Not really. Not really. I thought that was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
So the Mutos breaks free of its cocoon and kind of just wrecks the
the research
facility.
Place.
Yeah, and Ford is still stuck in the car because that's where they locked him up, and he's trying to escape. Brian breaks out of jail because the power went out and the locks have stopped.
And they both managed to get out and see the Muto, but unfortunately, in all the chaos, Bryan Cranston gets hurt.
Yes, injured by a falling crane.
I think.
And it fell on a crane. Falling crane fell on the bridge that he was on.
Oh
and
yeah,
fell down.
Yeah.
And then they had to have they needed to get rescue. Or actually, they would have been stuck there if it wasn't for the Japanese scientist, which is an acquaintance of Brian early on. I didn't mention. We forgot to mention that.
He took interest in Bryan Cranston because he saw that Cranston had data. By the way, the Japanese scientist played by Ken Watanabe.
Mm-hmm.
That was his name. Pretty good job there. Watanabe saw Cranston had data on this, and that he knew basically more or less what was going on. So that's why when they're evacuating, he said, I have interest in this guy and his son.
Well, the U.S. comes in and is like, it's like, Mr. Japanese scientist, we're gonna take over this project now. We left it in your hands. What was the project name called?
Monarch.
Monarch. It's like, we're taking over this.
We're taking over Project Monarch.
Do you want anyone to come with you? And he's just like, I need those two. And then Brian dies on the helicopter because he's like, bye, I'm done.
Yeah. Shocking.
Before it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So then they get Ford to tell them what his dad was up to, and of course he's like, I don't know, I just thought he was crazy, but then I saw that monster and I'm like, duh. Should have believed him, and then they were like, oh, it was calling for something. It was they were basically telling him information about calling another monster, and then...
Yeah, Ford tells the guys that his dad found out that
it's communicating with something.
Yeah. And Godzilla hadn't appeared at that point, did he?
No, not yet, but
they talked about Godzilla.
Ken Wasabi?
Watanabe.
I'm gonna call him Wasabi. Ken Watanabe's character is like the balance of nature. It will bring another beast in, and that's where Godzilla comes in. It's like Godzilla gets awakened by this call, and Ford gets sent off to Hawaii to travel back to his home because it's you were in this mess, but we're gonna send you back, so forth. So they were trying to find out like where this other Muto is, because they were like, it's calling for this thing. It must be somewhere else.
Yeah.
While still searching for like the flying one.
Yeah.
Which we later find out that it's a male.
Yeah, they find.
So let's just
They figure out that the flying Muto was a male and was calling for a female.
For the female.
The other egg, those that they found.
Which there was that was one stupid thing I found. I like when they said it in the movie. It was like, we moved this egg to our nuclear plant. Waste industry.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's like, where did you put it? Where do you put all your nuclear waste? It's like, okay, the things feed off radiation.
Well,
you put it in the hot spot of radiation.
Well, they didn't know it fed off radiation. They just know it was very radiated. I guess that's why the reason for putting it there. But it was like, I was just like, you put this living thing next to radiation. What if it like mutates?
Yeah.
You know, that's an idea. Like you don't do anything else. But we're skipping past a few parts.
Yeah.
So Ford was in Hawaii and trying to get back to his wife, which you have the scene going back and forth where it's like the wife is worried. It's like, oh dear, are you gonna be okay? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh hey wife, I'm gonna be okay. Tell Jimmy or something that he'll be okay and I'll be home and we're gonna have a happy fun time and stuff. And I think I don't remember too many of the parts in Hawaii though.
The main set was with Hawaii is that he takes the subway, but a kid gets separated from his parents and he says, I'll take care of the kid, which automatically means he's invincible. He's taking care of a young child in a movie. He's gonna live.
And now that you bring that up, that scene was kind of they could have cut that out. Sort of, but the whole scene in Hawaii is where the monster attack begins.
Yeah, that's when. What happens is that they.
Okay, let's rewind to it because they were the Russian subs were like saying we got attacked by an unidentified object.
Yeah, what happens is that while searching for the male Muto, a Russian nuclear sub goes missing, and then they get a call they call the U.S. saying, "Hey, one of our subs went missing. What the fuck?" And they're like, "Okay, we'll go find it."
And they find it being Hawaii, where Ford is conveniently.
Yeah, conveniently. And so the U.S. goes in, tries to take care of it, but it doesn't work.
Obviously, because you can't have humans killing monsters. 1998.
And then that's when the first main appearance of Godzilla is.
And rewinding a little bit further with the whole you see Godzilla in the water because they found him, but it didn't attack him because it was like.
Well, he's not. They're like, oh, he's basically
he's not doing
anything bad right
not
now.
yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens, and then the male Mutos goes around crashing the city because I think they started attacking it by this point.
Yeah, they definitely started attacking it.
And Godzilla was coming because he was going to fight it because the whole thing with nature. And
yeah, the way they described it was that Godzilla is basically hunting the Muto.
Yeah, it's because he's the highest.
He's the king of the apex predator of their time.
So
which, by the way, the reason they're still around, or at least Godzilla's still around, is that after radiation levels dropped, all the giant monsters and whatnot went down closer to the
Earth's core where it radiated.
Yeah, like near the bottom of the ocean where radiation would leak from the Earth's core.
Yes, which was an interesting way to keep them alive.
Yeah, and it also explained why Godzilla's so good at swimming.
I guess. Yeah, that was always weird. He can swim, but he moves like he has duck feet. But anyway, so the male Mutos is attacking. It's like, oh, everyone in Hawaii evacuate,
but also, of course they can't because it's releasing EMPs.
Oh yeah, which knocks everything out.
Which is one of the main reasons why they're trying to get rid of it because the EMPs
are dangerous and it's knocking out their air support because the guys, it's like, I got target in sight. I've lost reading. Oh no.
Yeah, like the electronics and everything just shut off and they just crash.
Both male and female.
Both Mutos can do this.
Anyway, so not only that, Godzilla causes a tsunami around Hawaii,
which I thought was weird because it even had the point where the wave goes back into the ocean and then comes up, which I thought was weird because the reason that happens is because when there's a shift in the Earth's crust, there's kind of this pocket, and the water drops down to that, and then comes up, and then that energy dissipates into the tsunami, which I thought was weird because it was just Godzilla just walking up.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just because. Well, did it make for a cool scene?
Yeah, it did make for a cool scene. Like people first saw it was like, oh shit.
Or oh yeah, things are happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, people in the movie, like the characters, they on the online, they first saw it, they were like, shit.
It's like, oh, it's time to like run for it.
Yeah.
And then you just see scenes of like people running, and it's like, you see this one family running, and it's like, well, what's the significance of that? And they could have. There was a lot of stuff they could have cut out, but they didn't. But it comes to a point where it's like the Mutos is confronting Godzilla, and you get that pan from
feet up
to his face, and in the theater I just like shouted, "Oh fuck yeah!" And then it cuts the next day, and I'm like, "What? What happened to the fight? We're just gonna not talk about that?"
Yeah, the way they handled that is that it shows the next day at San Francisco at the home of Ford's family with the mother and the kid.
Oh wait, I thought it like just next day on the Hawaii place where it's like, oh, you see them trying to find people, evacuating them to a safe place.
I think it did that, but I definitely know that in regards to Godzilla and the fight, they did. What happens at the kids back in San Francisco, where Ford's family is, that the kids sit there watching the news station, and on it is the news feed. And it shows some of like Godzilla and the Muto fighting. It did show some of like literally like clips of that.
Yeah, the kid's like, "Mommy, dinosaurs!"
And then, of course, first the mom's like, "That's nice, dear." What the fuck? Like she sees is like.
Yeah, and she gets the call like about like, oh, Ford's in Hawaii. I hope he makes it out alive. Of course he does.
Yeah, because he's the main character.
Yes.
That and he was taking care of a young kid, so.
Okay, so then it goes in the whole thing like, oh, there's the other Muto, so
yeah,
where like it moves the egg to the nuclear waste, which was incredibly just stupid.
In Nevada? Yeah, it was in Nevada.
It was in Nevada or something like that.
Yeah, because it was right by Las Vegas. Because what happens is that they go, a group of soldiers go into the facility to explore it. You know, they find the area find the containment unit Muto was in. But their back's open. They see sunlight. They look out, and
there's a giant hole,
like right through the mountain. Which first I was like, they didn't notice this from the start. Same thing like earlier with the movie when they found the skeleton and the male Muto had burrowed through the ground.
But that was like a little mining facility, so it's like it wasn't like there were people.
Yeah, again, it was like
so that was a little bit more okay.
Yeah, that was more like that. Yeah, that was more. Remote.
Yes.
So and the hole was on the other side of the mountain, so okay, you can believe that. But like when the guys
and not only that, the Mutos was still in its cocoon form, so it
would have been, or like the larva form,
yeah,
so it would have been smaller.
So it would have been a bit more subtle.
Yeah, but like
the female one,
it burrows through a side of a mountain right, pretty close to Las Vegas, and like the female
it's 6 times bigger.
Yeah, it's a lot taller, like almost Godzilla size.
Because, like, if you know science here for you kids, the female... In the insect world, the females are always bigger and they're always more powerful than the male, so...
Yeah.
I was going to be like, how the hell do you know it's a female? I was like, oh, wait, it's a bug, so... Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Fine. Japanese guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, that scene bothered me a bit, because you see the guards, they're just standing out like, nope, nothing happened. So it's like... The giant's 6 times bigger than the Mutos. Like, what is it? Let's just say 600 feet or something. But the really big monster broke out of the side, and the guards outside are just like...
I think Godzilla was like 300 something feet. So the female Muto had to be around 300 feet, and the male was like maybe 200.
Half the size?
About.
Yeah,
but I do see your point. It's like usually there are guards and staff there.
Yeah, to guard the nuclear waste.
Did they not notice the giant monster burrowing through?
They didn't hear anything, they didn't see anything, just...
They didn't report anything.
Just like... It's just so stupid. It was just like... Nope, I don't hear anything. Do you hear anything, Bobby?
Nope.
Yeah, let's go get some coffee or something. Yeah, we're fat Americans. Just... How do you miss that? It's just...
Or like even the guys coming into the facility, like I'm not sure how they got there exactly, but you think like coming in, like even driving in, somebody would have looked out and said, "Hey, what's that stuff
Hey.
over there? Is that rubble?"
Or like a giant smoke or something, dust, and it's like, hey, it's the male Mutos or
They're
something,
female.
because they didn't know about it being a female at this point until just a little afterwards when it
Yeah.
shows up. And you know what I thought was weird? If it was trying to eat nuclear energy waste, why didn't it eat the things around? Why didn't it eat the whole facility? It just ate that one part and just like, bye-bye, I'm off to Las Vegas, bitches. It's just like, what?
You could probably explain it saying, "I was called by the male to mate."
Alright, fine. Although you don't see it mating, but you do see it later.
You don't see it explicitly, of course.
Well, of course, because that's not important. We don't need
Yeah.
we don't need like dinosaur girlfriend here. But anyway, so it makes its way to Las Vegas.
It makes its way through Las Vegas.
Oh yeah. It makes its way through Las Vegas, cutting off all the electricity. I love how like the TV in Las Vegas, no one's paying attention to, and it's like, oh, incoming monster,
And everyone's on the slots, and then the power goes out because the EMP is like, "What the hell?"
and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, then the roof caves in and reveals the Muto, and everyone freaks out.
And runs for it. Godzilla didn't appear in that scene, right? Because it was just too
No,
far
no, no.
away. No.
He was still in the Pacific, making his way after the male Muto.
And they were trying to do what they can to evacuate the people and like shoot down the female. Of course, it's all in vain.
Yeah.
Then after that,
What happened to that? Ford managed to tag along with a military
Well,
unit coming from Hawaii.
oh wait, they were talking about a plan to like blow up the two, like Godzilla, the two Mutos with a giant nuclear bomb.
Yeah, the way they
megatons of stuff.
Yeah, the plan that the U.S. military came up with was, they're all converging around San Francisco. We're gonna use a nuke to lure them out of that.
Yes, because
And
they're
then when they
attracted to
get there, we're
radiation
just gonna blow it up.
with force.
Yeah. But Ken Watanabe's like, no, they feed off radiation. This is a bad idea.
And then the general or whatever is like, well, sir, Mr. Japanese man, do you have a better plan? And he's like, and Ken is like, let them fight it out. And he's like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah, and then sort of like later on, I've seen where everyone else leaves. The general's like, what's your big problem with this nuke? And I thought it was a pretty good nod. Was Ken hands him a stopwatch. It's like, it stopped at a specific moment in Hiroshima, 1945. It was like the moment the bomb went off there.
Yeah, because Godzilla was not made to be a monster movie like at first, because it was just made to be a message about nuclear war. And
Yeah,
how
that's
it's
what the original Godzilla was.
But then, all these awesome movies.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, obviously. Like even some of the original ones are really dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're moving this bomb, and Ford's like, "Hey, where's that bomb going? It's going to San Francisco." And he's like, "My wife and kids are there. Bring me with you."
Yeah. Yeah, he basically, tags along, and of course he's a lieutenant in the military, so they let him tag along with them.
Yes, because it could be an asset to it.
But of course, along the way,
and it goes into nighttime too, because they're going by train.
Yeah, and the way they explain is that the nuke's on a analog timer.
Yes, because if they used an electrical one, the Mutos would just stop and it's like, oh, won't explode. So they use an old-fashioned timer to make it explode. Those really it's something the Joker would use, where it's literally just
in the Batman cartoon, it's like, I have this bomb. And
it's really old-fashioned, but that it's there
it makes
for
sense.
Yeah, so they try to bring it through on train. The female Mutos was right there in front of them, past this little tunnel.
It was the male Muto that attacked them.
No. It was a female one. Because remember when it goes over them and you see these eggs in its stomach?
I don't think it was that soon.
That was.
Because I remember the male Muto. Was it male?
No, it was a female.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they were moving. The train suddenly stopped, and they're like, "Hey, go check it out." And it's like, they go check it out over this bridge. It's like, "There's nothing. Bring the train over." The female Muto wakes up and is like, "I smell I smell nuclear radiation. Who's up for fried eggs? So you get to see a close picture of it. And that's the part where, like, when it was raising from the bridge, I was like, I can see how fake this looks right here. Like, you can just tell. So they get attacked. The train gets attacked. The nuclear, most of the nuclear explosives have been consumed.
Yeah, I
Except
think
for the,
they
vital
say
one.
they're using 2 nukes.
Were they? Because they left, like, the female
At
nuke
least
left
one nuke survived from it, and that was the one they ended up trying to use.
for some reason. But
Yeah.
okay, whatever. The story won't go on without it.
Yeah.
So everyone during that,
Encounter dies, except Ford, of
because
course.
he has main character powers.
Yeah.
All he does is get really dirty.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Didn't the bomb get taken, though, by the female Mutos, and then it puts it in its nest, and it's like, oh.
That was later on. Because there were still... The female Muto ate most of the nuclear material, yes, but she, for whatever reason, left one bomb there that
'Cause I remember
the U.S. military comes in and
with
picks
a
up.
helicopter, picks it up. Where did they drop it off at?
They dropped it off on a boat nearby San Francisco. Like, I think by the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right. And this is also where Godzilla appears again, and then you get another Coxties, because when it was fighting the male Mutos, it was like, you see, like, Ford's wife going into the subway underground.
Yeah, but before that even, there was this short little scene where, on the Golden Gate Bridge, where this bus with a bunch of kids trying to evacuate with Ford's kid on it.
Oh, yeah.
They're in trouble because Godzilla's coming up, and basically he's going to walk through the bridge with all these people on
And
it.
people would start falling, the bus driver just starts driving through.
Because, like, in the chaos, there's chaos everywhere because the military is trying to stop Godzilla.
And even the guy like, I gotta save these kids! But there was also something before that, because, like, Ford's wife was like, they were telling her to get on the bus to get to safety, but she's like,
Ooh,
no, my husband's gonna come get me, I'll be okay. But, send my kid out there,
Yeah.
so I can't look after him and whatnot. Yeah, so Godzilla starts attacking the male. Is it the male Mutos that comes in to... Yeah, it comes in and steals the
Because, like,
nuclear
at first
bomb.
you see, like, the F-35s starting falling from the sky, literally.
Oh, yeah, and
Like-
and during before the bus starts moving, like, you see these flocks of stupid pigeons hit the thing. Another scary moment, like, jump scare-like moment.
Yeah, of course the Navy's nearby the Golden Gate Bridge with the nuke, and all of a sudden, like, jets start falling from the sky as they lose their air support because of the EMP from the Muto. And of course, the male Muto comes in, grabs the nuke,
Gives it to the female.
yeah, as a gift, as a mating gift, basically.
Yes.
And then, of course, she makes her nest, and that's when the male and Godzilla start to fight, and you get that second cock tease.
Yeah, where it's like, Ford's wife was getting into the subway shelter, and just as you're about to see them fight, they close the door, and I'm like, oh, come on! I was getting pissed at that point. But yeah, the other thing is, they already set the time on the boat.
On the nuke.
Yeah, on the nuke on the boat for, like, what, 2 hours? Or something? No.
Something like that.
A couple of hours that gives them, like
Plenty of time to, like, get away, and set up the trap and whatnot.
Yeah, so the female Mutos goes to make a nest somewhere in the middle of the city with the bomb still ticking. Obviously, that would explode and cause lots of people to be in danger. Yeah. So that's where the scene from the trailer where they were
the paratroop. They were dropping in.
Yeah. Why did they do that again? Was it they said they couldn't get near it on ground, and I'm like.
It take too much time. The fastest way for them to do was take a plane, fly it high above Mutos, out of range of the MPs,
and then just skydive inwards, and then just
and of course Ford being a EOD is part of the team.
Oh wait, rewinding before that when they were talking about like what do we do about this bomb? It's like we don't got any bomb expert here, and it's like Ford's like, I'm EOD, I can disarm it within 2 minutes.
Hello, EOD?
They didn't know that, though.
They didn't know that firsthand, but...
So, Ford offered as, like, I want to get in the city.
Yeah.
So, that's why he's there now.
Yeah.
And the plan B was to move the bomb out of the place if they couldn't disarm it. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I want to bring up. Speaking of Ford, I want to bring this. Like, did you notice in the movie they have a lot of the scenes where he's like looking back and you see like this wide shot of it, of like whatever's happening in the background. They keep doing that, and I'm like, are you really doing this shot a whole lot? We get it.
Yeah, I think the point of it was to get
Emphasis.
sort of that sense of scale. That Ford's just like this tiny little guy, and here's this big shit going on. But I think they used it a good number of times.
Yeah, there were good times. But it's like I swore they did it 3 times in a row, like within like the span of a few minutes, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they do a halo dive, drop into like the nest area where the female Mutos is laid her eggs, and now they got to remove the bomb.
Yeah.
The bomb could not be disarmed because the glass case
Was broken or jammed.
and it's like they couldn't do anything about it. So it was like, guys, Plan B.
So they take it out to a boat that's at the harbor nearby.
Yes.
And of course, during this whole time, Godzilla and the Mutos are
The
going
two
at
Mutos
it.
are fighting it, and it was so good.
The cock teases, and you see these guys just go at it.
Yes, it's so like it so makes up for all the like the waiting time for it. Yeah. Oh yeah. We mentioned the 1998 Godzilla movie, and when they were in the lair of the Muto with all the eggs around, I was like, this looks like that one scene from the 1998 movie where like the eggs with the Velociraptor, the Zilla Raptors.
Yeah.
And I was like, these things aren't going to pop out and then you got to start shooting them, right? No, but I felt they took inspiration from that because like, I could definitely see inspiration from that.
I can see it being like, okay, yeah, this scene is similar, but we're gonna make it shorter and sweeter. We're just gonna
better.
just have I think for press open like a natural gas line
From a truck, because I didn't notice there was a truck there, but I knew what he was doing because he blows them all up just like in the 1998 one, in flames. And while during the fight, all the eggs are dead. The female Mutos comes down and is like, my babies. That's all my pregnancy tests.
And I like it how like after she sees this, she looks up and just sees Ford, and like she just stares at him like
it's all your fault.
It's like this giant monster knew that this little tiny guy somehow did it.
Of all the things to notice, it was that. She's just finding an excuse to kill something.
Yeah.
So she then goes after the nuclear bomb, which leaves Godzilla. Godzilla was losing because he was fighting 2 of them at the same time, but then he fights the
one of the best scenes of the whole movie was I think it was right after the Muto realized Ford had killed her eggs. You see Godzilla's tail, that scene, and it's and it just starts glowing blue and
electricity.
Yeah, it just starts glowing, and I'm like, oh shit!
And then you get atomic breath,
and of course it pans up like more Godzilla's spines are glowing. He's just staring at the Muto like, bitch, you were done. It just
blasts her in the face. It wasn't a very big atomic breath.
It wasn't like the big beam you get.
Which I was kind of disappointed, but hey, it's there and it's better than the 1998 one, which didn't have
it actually looked like a flame breath.
Yeah.
And I love how like the soldiers carried the nuke to the boat. One of them sees it's like, holy shit, did you see that?
Oh yeah, they did.
And I like how he doesn't go, what the fuck was that? He's like, dude, giant monsters are splashing around. One of them breathe fire. This is awesome.
Yeah, but anyways, Godzilla was losing because he was fighting 2 of them at once, and that distraction gave him some time to recuperate, to fight back. But the male Mutos dies like a bitch, I gotta say.
Yeah, I think it was right after Godzilla breathes a fire on the female. The male comes back and basically takes him off while the female goes after the nuke.
Yes.
And the way the male Muto dies, so there's like a huge skyscraper right by them, and the male like swoops in trying to attack Godzilla. And he just turns around, and another great scene, turns around, just
tail whips him into the skyscraper.
Just boom! Like,
which was
felt that. It's like, bam!
There was one thing about that scene that bothered me a little bit. Guns, missiles, nothing could take down the male Mutos. But skyscraper, concrete rocks, it got impaled by it. I was like...
Because Godzilla. It was Godzilla that did it.
It was so weird, though. It got impaled by concrete, which is just rocks, and it dies from that?
Concrete, probably reinforced concrete with like steel bars and whatnot. But again, that whole thing's kind of odd. But of course, it gets impaled there, and then the entire skyscraper falls.
Yeah,
It's like several hundred stories.
Which is like you could have just killed the moon by dropping a skyscraper on it instead of at it, which I just thought was just a little weird. Like I know their exoskeleton is really hard, but it got penetrated by a fucking skyscraper.
Well, Godzilla put him there, so
I know, but still, I thought the way he died wasn't that great. But,
I think it was more the way Godzilla. People thought it was like more the way Godzilla killed him. Like instead of like, oh, the Muto dies, Godzilla kills him, and Godzilla just whoops his shit.
Yeah,
that's more of the thinking with that scene.
Yeah, but like when I saw it, it was just kind of like I see it as like him smacking him into something, and then that something he rams into kills it as a result.
Yeah,
which is what bothered me.
But unfortunately, like the skyscraper also falls on top of Godzilla,
and
who's been through some shit through the whole fight. So he kind of takes like a little breather. He just lays down. He's like,
and he goes into like this smoky effect where his face disappears. That as Ford looks at him, he's like. He just looks at him. Then it's like, okay, back to the female Mutos. We're trying to get it off the boat.
Yeah.
The guys there died, and they couldn't get.
Well, they get it on the boat.
They get it on the boat, but they couldn't get the boat moving because the EMP still was affecting it.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, we got to hold up this female Mutos as she's super pissed as hell.
Yeah. So the soldiers are able to distract the female Muto while Ford gets on. Yeah, Ford gets on the boat and gets it going.
Oh yeah, Ford is really fucked up by this point. He's like. Ooh.
He's basically like
he's nose bleeding by this point.
Yeah, he's basically went through stuff like John McClane, like one of the Die Hard films would be.
Yeah, because when
he's human, but he's been through some shit.
Because when he blew up the nest, like gasoline filled it up like a pool, and when it exploded, he like flying out like forward flip.
He was right there,
like on the edge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like all hope is lost, but then Godzilla comes in for the greatest kill ever.
He comes up from behind, bites her neck, pulls her back, grabs. At first, he was gonna like King Kong.
I was thinking
pull her apart, which
I thought he was gonna do the King Kong thing too, but I'm like, oh god,
that would be brutal. But what he does is equally as brutal
and kind of. Disgusting section, or not, maybe not sexual, but that's definitely disgusting. But basically, or here's how I interpret it when I saw it. He does the atomic breath in her mouth, which I call it vomiting into her mouth. So he's like, it's like, oh fuck yeah, that was awesome. That was,
and of course it
rips her head off.
Yeah, not only completely fries her inside, it somehow fries her her neck, so her head comes off.
And you know what I was also expecting? I was expecting Godzilla to be... He rips her head off, and I expected Godzilla to be like... I would have been like, that's so stupid, but so awesome.
No, I think he just throws it away.
Yeah, he just throws it away. His arms are too stubby, but that would have been cool for impractical reasons. Oh yeah, the Godzilla roar, it's fateful, yet like it still retains the original, but it's still updated too. So
quite changed. It's a lot more throaty, and it feels like more, in a way, bigger. Like it's got
on a grander scale.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was like the best part of the movie for me, or one of the many best parts, where he just vomit breaths the female Mutos in the throat.
And of course, with the female Muto dead, power starts coming back.
Oh yeah.
The boat starts up, goes the distance. The military comes in a helicopter, saves Ford.
Okay. Well. Oh jeez. It was like it looks. They're trying to during that scene. It was like, oh, Ford's gonna die, but he made a sacrifice. He did. And I was like, he's not gonna die. They're gonna save him. And it's like, oh, military comes and saves him, and then the bomb blows off stream.
Well, no, it didn't show it blowing up. It's just like miles.
Away
from the city.
Yeah, away from the city, out in the middle of the ocean. Which the explosion wasn't even that big though. So it was like,
I don't know. You could lay off the distance.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but how much time was left on the bomb, or how fast the boat was going.
Yeah, but because from what I remember, it was like a small explosion of like it blew up the boat and engulfed it, but it was like it didn't go any farther. So then, cut the next day where Ford finds his kid and meets up with his wife, or was it?
No, yeah, he does. He finds his kid at the stadium. or he meets up with his kid at the stadium, and like the wife managed to come out, get out of the subway tunnel, and then finds them, and like it pans like new shots of Godzilla because like after the fight with the female Muto, again he's been through some shit. He lays down, and people think he's dead. The movie makes out he's possibly dead, possibly.
But he's not, because there's going to be 2 more movies.
Yeah, he slowly gets up, goes back into the ocean.
I love how in the news report it says King of Monsters, and I'm like, yeah,
it's
I saw what you did there.
It's like, savior of our city? The King of Monsters. It's like,
no, it was King of Monster. Is he our savior? Question mark.
Something like that.
I could have sworn they also wrote Godzilla on it too as a name.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Because after the movie I was like, did they put Godzilla's name on the thing? I was like, how did they know its name?
Yeah. Because, like, Ken Watanabe's character, like, early on, when he's...
called him Gojira.
Yeah, when they were describing him initially, it was like, they called him Gojira.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Which is a neat nod to, like, its origins, which is what being faithful means.
Well, they did that in the 98 version. Like, they had the Japanese guy go, Gojira. Gojira. Gojira.
Pretty flame. yeah, okay.
Oh, that's a pretty lighter.
Anyway, so Godzilla comes back to life and is like, I'm gonna sleep this off. I had to fight off. I had to do pest controls and stuff. I'm gonna go back in the ocean.
It's like, I'm still feeling it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and he just walks it off like in the Godzilla movie. I was gonna say like, why didn't he attack me? Oh, you know what? This is what he does.
He's done. He's just like, I don't have time for these little things around me.
And the movie ends on the ocean, and there's the movie.
Yeah.
There was nothing after the credits. So.
No.
But from what I've heard, they're making a trilogy out of this, and I've just been thinking, what are they gonna do for a next monster? I was thinking Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I mean it's obvious that they're gonna do a sequel because like the way they left it was like it wasn't a cliffhanger, but it was open ended.
It was very, very.
Yeah, like the events of the movie are over, but we now know that Godzilla's out there. You know?
Yes, they tried to hide it, but. Yeah, early on they tried to hide it, but it's like...
Initially
it's like, Doctor, we can't hide this anymore. The world needs to know.
I mean, when a giant monster attacks fucking Honolulu...
And Las Vegas.
True.
It's like, you can't hide this shit anymore.
You know, when thousands of people see Godzilla fighting a giant flying insect, it's like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, we're not even gonna try to hide it, People saw it, it's all over the internet by now.
So movie ends, and I was just thinking, like, what's the next movie gonna be about monsters? It's like I'm thinking Mechagodzilla because it's like, we still don't know if Godzilla's a threat, so we should build a Mechagodzilla. Although that's a little cartoony, though.
Yeah.
So
that's
maybe
more like
not.
a Pacific Rim. It worked in Pacific Rim because they set up saying, we came with this idea, we tested it, and it worked.
Yeah, I haven't seen Pacific Rim yet, so
you should.
But I know, I have the movie.
It's early on in the movie that they say that we built the Jaegers early to fight the monsters, and at first we were winning. That's why we built like 30 of them. It's early on in the movie here. It's not much of a spoiler, but like to go straight into Mechagodzilla would be like, how do they know this will work? It would definitely be cool.
See, the reason why I said it was cartoony is like, you could have built a mecha whatever. Why Godzilla specifically?
Yeah.
Wait, the bones in the Philippines? They could have used that.
I knew Kiryu. Yeah.
Kiryu.
Yeah. Well, Mechagodzilla.
It's Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla 3.
Well,
but
of the Absolute Zero Ice Beam, which always misses, and even when it did hit, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Except for in that one movie where it was Godzilla versus Dysandroia, and they managed to freeze him there.
Yeah.
When he was about to explode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was thinking Mechagodzilla or King Ghidorah. Although I'm thinking they would leave that for like
maybe the last movie.
The last movie.
King Ghidorah is really Godzilla's nemesis.
Biggest
rival.
Yes. Biggest. Yeah, just like Batman to Joker, Superman to
Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure they'll save it for last because it's King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what other monsters would there be? I was thinking maybe Biollante, but
I kind of doubt it. She was only in there for like one movie, and she's not that big with the Godzilla community. I was thinking more like Mothra, possibly.
They would, which would tie in with the whole Mecha Godzilla thing. I was thinking they might be bringing in the whole aliens from outer space with like, we're gonna take over your Earth with our monster if you don't fucking give us your planet. And then people of Earth is like, Godzilla rise from the ocean, and it's like. Or
it's like an what was it? Like Terror of Mechagodzilla. I think it was the very first appearance of Mechagodzilla with the King Caesar, and the one where it has to sing like that 5-minute song to wake him up.
And the one was it this one where it's like Mechagodzilla was pretending to be Godzilla?
Yeah, in the beginning of the movie he was pretending to be Godzilla, then the real Godzilla and him fought, and then burned away
chips off.
his skin.
Maybe they might go with that actually. Because then it would make
it's faithful to the original.
Yeah, because then it's like first movie they're still not sure if Godzilla is their savior. So in maybe number 2 it's like fake Mechagodzilla in the Godzilla skin. It's like, oh no, we should have killed this motherfucker. God damn it! It's like, wait, there's 2 Godzilla. What's going on? Shit.
Wait,
aliens.
who? Oh right, aliens would build the Mechagodzilla.
For whatever reason,
yeah.
It's counterpart. And then you could have Mothra. It's like after the Mutos attack, they're gonna be like, oh fuck, not another Mutos. And it's like, oh, this one is actually trying to help.
Yeah, it's just this pretty bug thing.
Yes. Yeah. Although it's with the movie with the Godzilla movie going so far, it's been pretty down to earth realistic.
Yeah, it's not like I doubt if they bring Mothra in, I doubt they'd have like the fairy twins.
Yeah, that would just be like out the window.
It's like, okay, here's a scientific explanation for Godzilla. And magical fairies and a giant moth. It's like,
and Chemical X.
Oh. That's not Powerpuff Girls.
Oh god, but still. So it would have to be something down to earth. Definitely King Ghidorah. They have to put that in there.
Or maybe like Rodan, maybe.
I guess maybe some of the more unpopular but can be done really well on like a grounded level.
Well, Rodan's fairly popular, but yeah, I'd see that. Maybe
it would have to be something as big as Godzilla, because remember the Japanese scientist Ken was saying like, oh, it must have a matching power in order to fight.
Yeah.
So it can't be
balance
something
of nature.
Yeah, so it can't be something like really small, because it would be really lame. During the movie, I was thinking to myself like, what if they made an Ultraman movie like this? And I'm like, nah, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But it would have been kind of neat. But so, yeah, that's Godzilla. That's the Godzilla movie. There were a few points where we went,
like,
huh? Or like, why? But still, overall, it doesn't distract from the whole movie. Overall, I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if I was to watch it again, I would watch it with the Godzilla scenes.
Yeah.
Because the human scenes, you should just watch it once, because it's about their struggle and how they're trying to contain this problem.
Yeah, and there are some interesting ideas with that, but it's not enough to like really warrant those scenes another watch too much.
Yeah, and what was it? And their plans weren't like completely stupid. It was like believable. It's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, like you actually believe that it was the actual U.S. military going out, but like. One of the main problems I have with the 98 Godzilla, the fucking U.S. military is stupid as shit. Like, they destroy most of New York City, more than Godzilla does anything.
It's like, who's the big destroyer now? But anyways, yeah.
And they act like idiots in that movie. It's like, okay, #1 military in the world, supposed to be, most professional, and yet, what the fuck?
Just...
Yeah, this one seems to treat
it's more believable, and when it fails, and we knew it was gonna fail because the whole nuclear bomb is we know the Mutos is gonna eat it or something. But it makes sense. Luring it away makes sense, and if it fucks up,
and when the plan fails, the U.S. military is like, shit, we gotta fix this. We gotta come up with a contingency.
It was coherent.
Yeah.
So
they came up with a contingency plan.
Yeah. So enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie. He enjoyed the movie. Go watch it. Just Godzilla. It's really good. So I guess that's it for the vlog. I can't think of anything else unless you want to have anything to add.
No, not really.
Okay. Also, no VIP seats.